Hi beautiful souls, welcome to my channel Elle's Temple. My name is Elle, I'm a goddess guide and intuitive tarot reader. Welcome if you are returning, so happy to have you back, and welcome if you're new to my channel, so happy to have you all here. I hope you guys are all doing well wherever you are in the world, and your winter or summer, whatever season it is, wherever you are, is going okay for you. So today's reading is going to be a special reading for the full moon in Leo. So for those of you that have been following me for the last little bit, you'll know that for a while I was doing new moon and full moon and waning moon readings over on my Patreon tier 1, but I'm doing a bit of a shake up of my Patreon. There'll be an announcement later today on my community tab about that, so check that out if you're interested to see. I'm streamlining it all, and for those of you that like new moon and full moon readings and also wheel of the year readings, you'll be very happy to know that all of those types of readings I was previously doing under the wild woman archetype, I'm bringing back to YouTube. So it just felt pertinent for some reason this year. At the beginning of the year, I got the nudge from Spirit to bring it back over, that there was a need in the community here to really sync up with these moon cycles. This is more and more of the work that I've been doing. So yeah, it just felt really cool to kind of share that here on my YouTube channel. So I hope you guys like these kind of readings. Let me know in the comments below if you enjoy readings that help you sync up with the new moon and full moon cycles, and also the wheel of the year. Yeah, I just feel like the longer that I've been doing that myself, like tuning into each new moon and full moon and using those energies and harnessing them, the better you feel like you can ride the wave, so to speak, of all the kind of things that are going on astrologically. So I'm also hoping to do some readings for some of the major transits and things like that, some of the major astrological transits as well, and portals and things like that. But I will let you guys know about that very soon. So that's all the housekeeping stuff I think I wanted to talk about now. So this reading is going to be for the full moon in Leo. The fabulous, creative, courageous, confident, light shining Leo. So of course this particular full moon in Leo is going to bring up, because the full moon is always bringing things to the surface, right? It's always about bringing things into illumination, bringing things to fulfillment. It's like the fullest peak that the moon is going to be. So it's a powerful time to manifest things. It's a powerful time to complete things. It's a powerful time for things to be brought into illumination. So anything relating to your confidence, anything relating to your courage, anything relating to really where you're being called to step up, in terms of like your, some of you, if you're feeling called to step into a leadership position, because Leo can be, it's the lion. It's often associated with being, regal or leading or having the confidence to lead people. So any of that kind of thing, if you're feeling called to do that, any blocks or anything that might be standing in your way might start coming up around this full moon. I'd also recommend checking out your birth chart to see which house the full moon is transiting in, so in which house on your personal birth chart it's going to affect, because that will show you which life area the full moon in Leo is going to be working on more specifically. So it will impact across your life, but for each of us individually, it's always helpful just to kind of know which area in particular it might have a stronger effect and might bring things up, and amplify things for you over this period. So I'm filming this on the day of the full moon. The energies are going to be present for the next 4 or 5 days as well. So you can certainly do any kind of full moon rituals if there's anything you want to manifest, if there's anything you want to, do any sort of clearing or anything, you can certainly do that over the next few days. The energy will still be present. Also, if you're drawn to this reading at another time, if one of the cards is speaking to you, one of the piles feels like it's pulling you in, and it's even several days after the full moon, then trust your intuition. It may well be that there are messages in one of the piles that is relevant to you at another time. So the messages themselves will always be timeless. I'm just filming the reading around the energy of the full moon, and we're going to be looking at how this full moon might be calling you into more confidence, into expressing yourself, into being more fearless, more courageous, all that kind of thing. So, you know, if those themes are relevant at a later period of your life, or they're just something that you need to, you know, perhaps look at amplifying, you know, in your life at another time, then trust your intuition. It may well be that there's a message for you there. Okay, my love. So to introduce each of the piles, if you are drawn to card number 42 with Angel of Truth, or the sodalite stone, I've got crystals for you today. So we've got this lovely sodalite tower. So if you're drawn to either of those, you will be pile number 1. Timestamps will be below as always. If you're drawn to card number 15 with hero and be your own hero, or the citrine crystal, you'll be pile number 2. By the way, citrine crystal is actually one of the crystals associated with Leo as well. So as well as amber. And card number 22 is free spirit. You'll be pile number 3 if you're drawn to that card, or the chevron amethyst, or branded amethyst as it's sometimes called, this one. So if you're drawn to either the chevron amethyst or free spirit, you will be pile number 3. So have a look at the description box below. The timestamps will be there. Trust your intuition. If you're drawn to more than one pile, it may well be that there's messages across the different piles that may relate to you at this time. Otherwise, I will see you in your pile. Hi there, pile number 1. If you chose the Angel of Truth and the sodalite, this will be your reading. So I'm going to be doing the reading a little bit differently today. I haven't actually pre-pulled any of your oracle cards. I've got quite a few different decks here that I'm going to shuffle live on camera and pull some cards for you in a moment. But I just want to tune into your energy to begin with, and just let you know some channel messages that came through when I picked your selection card. So straight off the bat, pile number 1 with the Angel of Truth here. I'm just seeing with the number 42 first up that reduces in numerology to a number 6. So you may be a life path number 6 or a personality number 6, which is a lot to do with being very caring, very compassionate. It can be to do with being of service, like being someone who is likely to be in some sort of a service role. So some of you might be in something related to, say, nursing or something like that, or that may be where your path is perhaps calling you towards. I feel a very angelic energy when I tune into your energy, very caring, very sweet, very nurturing, very compassionate, very empathic energy. I'm getting with the pink and the blue colors on your card. The pink is associated with the divine feminine and with that, you know, very sweet, feminine, nurturing energy. It's very loving energy. You know, it's associated with the heart chakra and unconditional love. And the blue is associated with the throat chakra, and it's all about speaking your truth. So some of you may be in positions related to using your voice in some way to support others. So this could be something like counseling, it could be something like teaching, it could be something like, could even be writing, or working with people in some way where you're encouraging them, or you're supporting them, you're cheering them on, maybe being like a coach, or I'm kind of seeing like a, you know, like a sports coach even at a school or something like that, or yeah, it could even just be being some sort of a doing something where you're using your voice to help and guide and support people and nurture them. There's definitely a sort of a nurturing energy there. With the sodalite crystal, this is all about helping you to speak your truth, and also to get very clear on yourself. So sometimes with the life path 6, or with the energy of the 6 and this sort of Angel of Truth energy, there can be a little bit of not necessarily like people pleasing or anything, but sometimes being so empathic that it can be difficult to kind of maybe even separate like where your energy ends and another person begins, or something. Like you might absorb a lot of energies from other people, or absorb a lot of like other people's ideas or influences on you or something. So you may sometimes struggle to kind of speak your truth and be authentic to yourself, especially if you don't want to sort of rock the boat or kind of stand out too much, or you know, be picked on in any way or something. Like you may just really struggle to really stand in your authentic truth. So the sodalite crystal could be very helpful for you to honor your truth, to honor your authentic self, to speak your truth when you need to speak your own needs, to find the clarity to be able to see very clearly, like, what is your own truth, and to really stand strong in that. So there may be something that is coming up with this full moon in Leo, where the full moon might amplify for you or illuminate for you, like where you haven't been standing in your truth, and where maybe, or also maybe where someone else hasn't been truthful with you, or you've maybe wanted to give someone the benefit of the doubt, or a certain situation or an organization or something the benefit of the doubt, and then actually during this full moon you really start to see, like, oh wow, like they're not really being they're not really telling me the truth, or I'm not seeing the truth of this. I've not been really seeing the full truth of this situation. I've kind of wanted to see, I've wanted to give them the benefit of the doubt. I've wanted to kind of see the best side, and really, like, maybe they're not who they've been presenting themselves to be, or I'm not getting the full truth in this situation. Or this could also be about yourself. This could be where you've been absorbing certain things related to your own self and what you're capable of, and what who you are authentically, and things like that. You might be starting to see where there's been lies that you've absorbed from other people, and I'm not kind of saying that anyone sort of maliciously told you things about yourself, but this could just be from childhood, or your teenage years, or just as going through life, like absorbing messages from the media or whatever, especially as women, right? Although men certainly get this as well, but particularly as women, absorbing a lot of messages. This card can talk about, like, being programmed, like, from the media and things like that, like, to kind of believe certain things about ourselves. And that's why it's so important to kind of, like, really see ourselves very clearly and stand in that truth, and know what our own truth is, and not sort of get too swayed or knocked about by, like, other people's truth and what they try and kind of project onto us. So there's something around truth, and standing really strong in that, and being really clear on what your truth is in regard to something or someone that may come up as a result of this full moon. But I feel like whatever it is, this situation is ultimately going to bring about, like, it's going to give you, the full moon is going to give you that injection of confidence to really be your unique self. So I feel like more generally, this is less about a sort of particular situation where there's some nefarious person who, they're going to turn out to be really deceptive. And it's kind of more about, like, just looking at where you've been maybe pulling the wool over your own eyes, and not seeing your own beautiful self really clearly, not seeing your own authentic self really clearly, not seeing your unique strengths and unique talents, and how you should be. Like, I'm just getting this really nice guiding energy coming through from your guides, being like, you're amazing, part one. Like, you should really, like, get out there, show your unique self to the world, because you're a beautiful soul. You have so much truth to tell. You have so many, like, the things that you believe in, like, really trust what you believe in, and trust that truth needs to be spoken. So for some of you, if you've been holding your voice, holding your own truth back in certain situations, you might be quite surprised at yourself over the next week, or even over the coming months. These full moons don't necessarily, it's like a 2-day thing and then boom, that's it. It's like, each full moon can amplify things and shift things for you that can be quite long lasting, and last for a whole cycle. It could be a whole 1-month cycle until the next full moon, or it could be months and months. So this is a powerful opportunity to, like, really harness, like, the truth that comes through, this connection with your authentic self. If you have the courage suddenly to speak up about something, it could be telling someone your truth, maybe in a situation at work or something like that. There could just be some sort of a truth that needs to be spoken, that you're getting the courage to really, like, step forward with. So let's have a look at some of your oracle cards, and we'll get a bit more of an idea. Oh, that came out fast. The underworld. Okay, so we have the underworld here. Yeah, I'm kind of getting that there's something that's been underneath the surface that might be coming to the surface with that underworld card. It can be that you've gone through a bit of a dark night of the soul. Maybe you've gone through a bit of a period of feeling maybe a little bit like cut off from people. So, but I feel like this has all happened to kind of help you see your own truth. So maybe if you've, been felt a little bit distanced from everyone else, like I'm kind of, I don't know why I'm being shown this, but I'm getting like Little Mermaid, like Ariel, when she's sort of like under the water and she's like, yearning to be back on earth with everyone else. So maybe some of you have been in a bit of a hermit mode, or kind of separated a bit from other people or something. You've been maybe on a retreat, or you've been going through a bit of a spiritual dark night of the soul or something like that. You've been going through a real underworld journey. Like I'm kind of seeing that Persephone, goddess Persephone, who goes through the descent. For every autumn and winter, she'll go down and she unites with Hades, the god of the underworld, and she's then the queen of the underworld. So I feel like there's been some sort of a descent, some sort of a journey where you've really gone through something, perhaps been really sort of withdrawn from whatever it was that you were previously doing. Interesting. Let's have a look at some of your other cards. So let's see with this is from the Wild and Sacred Feminine deck. It's a new deck. It's so beautiful. Let's have a look. What else do we need to know about pile 1? Oh, we got 2 cards. Beautiful. Maiden Innocence. Yeah, that's so interesting. I was just speaking about Persephone, because Persephone, her actual name in Greek is Kor, or Kore, it might be pronounced, sorry. And she is the maiden. That name literally means the maiden. And this looks like Persephone energy, really, with the goddess being the goddess of spring, with her little wreath there on her head and being in her innocence. So yeah, there might be something around it. I'm kind of getting with that angel of truth, and that the life past 6, and being very compassionate and empathic. You might be quite an innocent soul. You might be someone who you're very innocent at heart, and so you may not always see the truth of certain situations, because you have a certain innocence and purity to yourself, and that is a good thing, believe me. It's not to knock that at all, but I feel like maybe you've been through a bit of an underworld situation recently, or you're currently going through something that's kind of causing you to see a little bit more. You're able to kind of discern the truth of certain situations and understand that perhaps the shadow side of people. So you're able to kind of see things a little bit more clearly, or see the truth of either a situation or an organization or a person, or even yourself. This can be like, shadow work, and doing that descent work can be about integrating parts of ourselves that have been suppressed and cut off and put in our shadow. So certain things that we were told, untruths that we were told as a child, like say you created something, or you sang a song, or you made some sort of a beautiful creation, and then a teacher or a parent figure or a caregiver or someone was like, oh, that's not very, very good. Like, you shouldn't put that, out on the school notice board or whatever. It's not good enough, or something like that. And bully to them, like, that's rubbish. It's your creation, especially if it was something artistic. It's so subjective. And like, if it was your, whatever you were expressing at the time, if that was your truth, I feel like maybe there was something around your truth being kind of blocked off, or something. That might be, this full moon might be really giving you a good opportunity to kind of get in touch with that authentic truth, and actually have the confidence to really speak it. So I feel like you're maybe starting to kind of balance these two sides, this sort of innocence and this like underworld side, where you're able to kind of, you've gone through the underworld process of integrating things that may have been suppressed, integrating truths about yourself, and being able to see yourself more clearly. And with this Pachamama reciprocity, I feel like one of the things that is important to you, one of the things that's part of your truth, is being in more of a reciprocal situation. So it could be that, again, with the life past 6, it could be that you maybe have spilled into overgiving, over trusting, maybe being overly compassionate about other people and overly understanding, and like maybe that's led to being a little bit taken advantage of, for example, or a little bit like people have I don't know, maybe like being a little bit energy vampire-y around you, or just taking up a lot of your time, like they want to tell you all their truth and they're not willing to listen to yours or something like that. There could have been something previously that wasn't necessarily reciprocal, it wasn't balanced. And so Pachamama is coming through to encourage you to really ensure that you're when you're going into situations, you're discerning the truth of a person or a situation first, so that you can ensure that that it's fair and that it's reciprocal and that you're not going to get taken advantage of, because you're not there to be, I feel like in your sort of angelic innocent state, you're kind of feeling like, oh, I just need to give and give and give. Like I need to be there for everyone else. And, I've got to be the person to, help everyone, and I've got to be the person who cares for everyone, and I've got to be there for them, and I've got to give them endless love and endless unconditional love and understanding. And that's coming from a beautiful place, because you have this very angelic energy. But I feel like, Pachamama is coming in to say, make sure you're grounding into only giving from a place where you're very grounded and you're able to fill yourself up, and so you're able to create that reciprocity, that reciprocal even flow of energy. So that might have been something that you kind of learned as a result of that kind of descent process. Interesting. Okay, let's have a look at the Believe in Your Own Magic cards. What else does Pal 1 need to know about becoming or having the confidence? Whoa, got a few. Interesting. Okay, I'm just going to take these two. So we've got, oh my goodness. This is why I wanted to do this. Sorry to get so excited, but this is why I wanted to do the cards live. I was really nudged this time to be like, do them live on camera, because look at this. Angel of Truth and Flower, be honest with yourself. I love it when it comes flying out, and the synchronicities are crazy. And I always feel like if I've pre-shuffled and then I just put all the cards out, it's like, maybe it might look like I've kind of gone through the cards and found matches, but like you can see it, you saw it live, it came out, it flew out of the deck. Be honest with yourself. Yeah. And she's got her hand across her mouth here. So I feel like there's something you haven't been saying. There's something you haven't been truthful with yourself about. It may be about another person or a situation, but I feel like it's something to do with like being really honest about yourself. It's being honest with yourself about something, maybe about how you feel about something, or, she's wearing a yellow dress, which is linked with the solar plexus, which is all about, and also her hand is across her solar plexus. So her hand is both blocking her mouth, so throat chakra, and blocking her solar plexus. So both of those two chakras might be highlighted to do some energy healing work around this full moon. Full moons are really potent times to do like clearing energy. So there might be something you're not being honest with yourself around solar plexus chakra things. So shining your light, having the confidence to be yourself, and with it being linked with the throat chakra, it's all about having the confidence to be your authentic self and speak your authentic truth, be who you really are, shine your true light. So this could be, I'm not going to get into like specific scenarios too much in this reading, because this is more of an energy reading about like how to work with the full moon. But if you want to get into something specific around navigating a specific situation, you can always book a personal reading to get something more personal. But what I'm picking up just as an example is that, this could be something like being really honest with yourself around, and being really truthful with yourself around, say, a certain career path or something like that. Like maybe you've been doing something, that might have been a little bit, maybe was a bit of like, when you're really honest with yourself, you realize like, actually I was doing that to, so that my parents would be pleased with me, for example, which it can often be a very subconscious thing and can often rule our lives for a really long time. And it can take a lot to kind of unpack that, and kind of like, like parental influence, or, a certain caregiver, or, even just our upbringing, schooling, anything like that can have a huge and profound influence on like our life trajectory or life path, or, what we feel confident to go and do. And so there may be something around being really honest with yourself around like, actually, do I really love what I'm doing? Like maybe, maybe if I'm really honest, I just don't actually love this anymore. Like maybe you used to, but like you're kind of like, actually, this was, I'm just seeing the number 17. Like maybe this was something that like I was pushed into a bit when I was 17 or a teenager, like, because sometimes like, you can go to college or whatever at 17, 18, whatever the age is, wherever you are in the world. It'll be slightly different everywhere. I know I was 17 when I went to university, and it's so young, right, to be like making a decision about the rest of your life, and you kind of choose things. I remember I chose law to do initially, and then I dropped out after a year, and then I did arts because I was just like, actually, it it's not this. I just knew I didn't want to do it for another 4 years and do like the bar and all that for another couple of years, and then be a lawyer. It's not to knock that at all. I love, like, I was really passionate about justice and everything, but like I just, when I started learning it in reality, it was like, if I was honest with myself, which I knew right at the front, I did a whole year of it before I was like, actually, I definitely don't want to do this. And I could have just saved myself a whole year of hassle and pulled out in the first week. So some of you might be in a position like that, where you may be in college or university or something now, or in a path of study, or you're in a path that is something you started studying at a young age that you were kind of guided into, and again, this isn't, I'm not saying like, oh my gosh, the caregivers around you were malicious, terrible people because they encouraged you to, go down a certain career path, because it was probably like a good stable option, or something that they did, or something that they believed would be supportive for you. But really, it's got to a point now where you're like, actually, this isn't how I want to shine my light anymore. You're kind of blocking your true self, you're blocking your true voice and your true light. Possibly, this is that, like I said, this is just an example. So it's for you to kind of work with this full moon energy and sort of see, what the blocks to you being your authentic self are. And it'll be different for all of you. For some of you, it could be this example I'm using about your path. For some of you, this could be just more about like generally shining your light in terms of who you are as a person and your day-to-day life. Leo's ruled by the sun, so the sun is like your day-to-day, like how you're showing up in the world, how you're just expressing your true self, all that kind of thing. And I'm just noticing like the contrast between this like innocent card and then this card, like her arms are wide open and she's like running towards life, or she's kind of contracted and like her arms are kind of closed over her. I feel like there's kind of something around like returning back to your innocent self, and that's what this like underworld process was to go back and do that kind of shadow work. So for some of you, doing inner child healing could be really helpful, because there may be sort of a true part of yourself, an authentic part of yourself, your original innocent soul self, that has been kind of like muddied almost. Like you can see all this on this card, there's just all these like worms and kind of all this like tangly branches and grass, and also it's like an overgrown garden. It's like it's gotten lost, like your true innocent authentic self may have gotten a bit lost along the way. And like I said, this could be about a number of different things. This could be playing out in different ways, and that's why I would encourage you, I think I said this in the intro, to look at where the full moon, which house the full moon is transiting in, and Leo, so you'll know how this is going to play out more. So, in the, say for example, if it's in your third house of communication, this could be really about like how you communicate to others. Like, are you someone who actually expresses your needs? Do you actually tell people how you're truly feeling, or do you lock that up and just keep it suppressed for the sake of keeping the peace, for example? If it's in your 10th house to do with like career and public recognition and achievement, this could be something to do with the path you're on and like the job you're doing and the career you're doing and all of that kind of thing. So, if it's the 7th house of relationships and partnerships, it could be to do with how you are in relationships, and whether you speak your truth, whether you are in touch with your needs, whether you are comfortable and confident to be your authentic self, in partnerships. So it'll bring up different things for all of you, and it'll play out in slightly different ways, and it may touch lots of different areas of your life, because certainly if you're not being truthful, if you're not really in touch with your true self and you're not being truthful, and of course I'm not saying any of this like you know, this is a, you know, you can fix this as a one-time thing. Like, I'm still learning some of this. Like, we're all on that journey. Like, it's a process. It's not a linear thing. It's not a kind of a like, get it fixed, get it sorted, and you're done for life. It's you know, an endless cyclical process that takes time to kind of like break down, you know, where you've been told untruths, where you've been conditioned in certain ways, where you've learned to like, you know, where you've been maybe manipulated a little bit, where you've been, you know, your innocence has been somewhat taken advantage of, or anything like that, you know. So it's a process to really step into, in a confident way, being really honest with yourself, and then acting from that place of integrity and honesty and authenticity. And by no means am I suggesting like you're not being in, like you don't have integrity, pole one. Like, I'm saying, like, you know, these are things that, you know, these realizations can come up in different facets of your life over time, and sometimes they're just, you know, small tweaks, and sometimes they're quite big shifts. And I feel like with the underworld coming out here, you know, there's been you're on a bit of a journey. Maybe some of you have gone through this recently. Some of you have kind of done that work. You feel like you've done a lot of shadow work. You've done a lot of inner child healing. And this is confirmation that it's paying off, and you're on the right path, and you're returning to your true self. You're being encouraged to keep doing that, to keep speaking up, to keep being your authentic self. For others of you, this could be quite new. You could be just starting to learn about, you know, what shadow work is, like what inner child healing is, what chakra healing is, you know, all that kind of thing. So if you are new to chakra healing, I'd encourage you to look up on YouTube. There's loads of videos, like meditations or music you can listen to that like correspond with the frequency for each different chakra. So definitely for you, solar plexus and throat chakra are the two that I'm getting really strongly. And then we've also got gold with card number 36. You don't need someone else to fix you. Interesting. I'm kind of seeing with the two numbers, I'm kind of feeling these as ages. So number 17, I felt was like something related to possibly some like conditioning that you had around your teenage years, or when you learn to kind of like, you know, block your truth and not speak your truth, and perhaps like start people pleasing in whichever area of your life that was, whether it was your path, whether it was in relationships, whether it was generally speaking. And now maybe you're in your 30s possibly, and you're learning, or you're stepping into like, actually, you know what, I don't need someone else to fix me, you know. And we've got this she's holding this mug here with the kintsugi, the Japanese art of fixing broken things with gold, which the whole idea around that is that it makes them more beautiful. So like, you know, if you have been going through this underworld journey and feeling a bit like, you know, oh my gosh, I'm just totally broken, like I've had all these horrible things told to me as a child or as a teenager, and like, you know, just lies told to me, and I believed the lies, and I took them in and absorbed them, and I believed all these negative things about myself, and you know, I was really manipulated to like go down a certain path, or I was really like manipulated out of my own truth. And you might have felt a bit broken around that process. Quite often that like dark night of the soul process, when you start to get in touch with those wounds, and where you've left your truth behind, where you haven't acted out of authenticity, where you've, you know, done certain things that have been people pleasing, you know, you may really feel like, you know, it may have been quite painful and quite difficult, and felt like you were broken, but really this is coming through to say, like, you know, you are gold, like you are truly gold, and those wounds, like they make you more beautiful. Like really, the mug, like it would have just been a boring green mug, but now it's really pretty. It's got a pretty gold bit. So like you are this beautiful mug, like you have these beautiful, like those wounds that you had are like, you know, really things that at the time obviously it was painful and difficult to go through. And I'm sorry if you have gone through any like actual like verbal abuse or anything like that, or something where someone was manipulating you or being deliberately deceptive about, you know, about you, like telling you lies or telling you lies about yourself in any way. You know, that's really difficult to deal with and to heal. It's a difficult process to go through that underworld journey like Persephone, and to kind of reintegrate all those parts of ourselves that have split off. and come into that wholeness and like reconnect with the truth of who we really are. Like as we start to reconnect with our authentic self, it can feel a bit like, hey, like where have you been this whole time, you know? But I feel like you are, you know, you're going to start to get in touch with like actually how much more beautiful this really makes you, and how even more you're this like, you have this angelic energy to be able, this compassionate energy to be able to help other people out, and work with other people, because you'll understand anyone who's gone through anything similar, or you know, you'll have this beautiful compassion for people, because you know you've really healed yourself. And I feel like, you know, with this you don't need someone else to fix you. I kind of feel like that's almost saying like you have the healing potential within to like navigate this shadow work, to navigate this inner child healing, to navigate reconnecting with your authentic self and having the confidence to like, you know, speak your truth, to, you know, be who you truly are, and then potentially help others even with that healing journey themselves, if that's something you feel called to do. Yeah, there's just, you don't need someone else. I mean, maybe for some of you, having some kind of guide for a little bit could be helpful, but I feel like really this is something you can do internally. Like I feel like intuitively you know what it is you need to do to yeah, you know what it is that you need to do to heal yourself essentially, and to come back to your innocence of your soul, to come back into this beautiful free energy that this maiden energy has. So let's finish up with the goddess card. We have a goddess card for pile 1. Goddess is working with pile 1. Oh, beautiful. Card number 47, Sophia, divine wisdom. Gorgeous. Yeah, I feel like there's this is connecting with what I was saying about that you don't need someone else to fix you. I feel like you have the divine wisdom, you have a connection with the divine. You know, as I picked up at the beginning, you've got this very angelic energy. So some of you may already, you know, you may have angel guides, or you may speak, you know, already have a sort of direct connection with spirit or with your angels. Or your guides. But if you don't, I'd encourage you to, you know, there's plenty of meditations again on YouTube with like how to meet your guides, things like that. Because I feel like, you know, you have the power to kind of, you know, with her crown chakra being lit up here, it's like you have the power to connect directly with the divine and receive the wisdom that you need to heal yourself, and the wisdom that you need to guide you towards, closer towards your own truth and closer towards like your authentic self. So if you are, you know, struggling with like people pleasing or not speaking your truth, if there's a certain situation you're like, you know, you're unsure about like how you really feel about something, you're not maybe in touch with like your truth around a certain situation or a person, or you know, whatever it might be, or some aspect of your life, if you're like, actually, maybe if I'm really honest about that, like that actually was not okay, like they really crossed my boundaries, or like, you know, that wasn't a reciprocal situation, because reciprocity was highlighted here. So this could be something to do with like being honest around a situation that, you know, wasn't reciprocal, or, you know, being honest around where you need to create more reciprocity in your life, possibly. You know, and that could be different things. This could be at work, it could be, you know, with friendships, it could be in relationships, any number of things. But I feel like you have it within you to fix this. You have it within you to heal yourself, and you have a connection with divine wisdom to be able to get the right wisdom that you need at the time to be able to navigate this situation. Okay, lovely pile 1s. I feel like that is all the messages I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this slightly different format of reading. Let me know below how you found it, if you liked it, having the cards come out, if you liked having a full moon reading. You know, as you know, I'm kind of making a few changes with my Patreon and YouTube, as I mentioned in the intro. So just, yeah, it would be really helpful to get your feedback. Let me know if it resonated at all. Hit the like button. That really helps my channel to grow. I so appreciate each and every one of you who's been leaving comments and likes. It really helps me so much. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already part of the community. I'd so love to have you part of the Els Temple community. And all the best with this full moon in Leo. And I will see you in the next reading. All my love. Bye. Hi there, pile 2. If you chose the card number 15 with hero and be your own hero, or the citrine crystal, this will be your reading on the full moon in Leo, the confidence to be your unique self. So pile number 2, right off the bat, I'm getting with be your own hero, there's something that the universe is calling you to step up for in some way, to really like be more bold, be more confident, be more courageous, like really take action. You know, if you think of all the qualities of a hero, there's someone who like, you know, really comes to the fore, they step up to the plate, they're there for everyone. You know, they're like, they sort of save people, they help rescue people, or they're kind of there in an emergency or something, and they kind of, you know, give that energy of like, you know, it's like, oh my gosh, you're my hero, you've really saved me so much trouble, or you've like really helped me so much. And I feel like that is an energy that you have within you naturally, pile number two, but I feel like you tend to expend all of that energy to others, which is beautiful and noble and a really good thing, and is very heroic, and is kind of the definition of being heroic. But I feel like there's something that the universe is calling you to use that energy for yourself, to really elevate yourself, to really like step up in some way. You know, I feel very much like for you, Pal, too, you may be called into a position of leadership. This could be in any number of things. This doesn't necessarily just have to be in work. This could be like, you know, just taking more of a lead on certain things, like you know, this could be even within a relationship. You know, maybe sometimes you might tend to be a little bit more passive in certain situations. You know, maybe sometimes you wait for someone else to kind of be the hero, or to kind of, you know, not necessarily, it's not like rescue you, but it's kind of like to kind of say rescue a situation, or to kind of resolve something, or whatever it might be. You know, even for example, you know, it could be with work situations. It could be like perhaps you don't necessarily see yourself as someone who could be a leader, or someone who could, you know, lead the team, or kind of take creative initiative, for example. You know, this could be even within like, say, a creative project, like, you know, being your own hero, like, you know, stepping up to the plate in regard to like, you know, if you could have a magic fairy come in and wave their wand and save some aspect of a project you're doing, or some aspect of something you're creating, you know, what would that look like, and how can you do that for yourself? So, you know, I'm sort of picking up a couple of different things here. I feel like on the one hand, I'm picking up some of you are very heroic when it comes to everyone else, and kind of being there for other people, and really giving to others, and being very heroic for them, but not necessarily giving yourself that same energy, or like stepping up with regard to certain things in your own life. So this full moon in Leo might really amplify that, and how you need to really be your own hero and look after your own needs, and kind of like, you know, how can you be more courageous, more bold, more confident, you know, more creative, or whatever it might be in regard to some facet of your own life. And again, I would encourage you, like I mentioned in the intro, to look at where the full moon in Leo is transiting, like which house it's in, because that will show you which life area, which domain it might be impacting the most. So it might show you where you need to really be heroic for yourself. So, you know, for example, this could be like, you know, say if you're struggling with financial things or something, maybe you're waiting for someone else to like help support you, or to like, you know, to fix that situation or rescue that situation or something. And I feel like, you know, so say for example, if so that's related to the 8th house, I believe, you know, money and finances, and particularly other people's money, investments, things like that. So, you know, say if the full moon in Leo falls in your 8th house, it could be like, you know, where do you need to you know, really step up to the plate and be your own hero, and sort that aspect of your life out in a really heroic way. Like, how can you take action on that? You know, for others of you, this could be something to do with like the 10th house, which is your, you know, career and public recognition. So like, how can you be heroic in that regard? So that could be at work, for example, like taking the lead, taking initiative, you know, being a leader in some way. So it could be different for all of you. It could play out in slightly different ways, but that's the energy I'm picking up. Is there's something this full moon in Leo is calling you to be really heroic around, to really be there for yourself. So also I'm kind of getting, if any of you have been, you know, maybe some of you might have struggled with like codependency in the past, or like, You know, maybe you were in a relationship previously and now you're navigating being single again. And I feel like this message could be coming through to say, like, you know, you can be your own hero. Like, you don't necessarily need someone else to kind of be that hero for you. Of course, that's always nice, right? But like, you know, often we can attract that person in our lives once we're really embodying that energy for ourselves. And I feel like if you are wanting to attract that kind of heroic soulmate kind of person in some way, then like really demonstrating to the universe like how you're doing that for yourself, you know, that could be something that like actually then gets you into the right frequency that then like attracts that type of situation for you. So like, you know, if for example like you have certain, you know, like romantic kind of ideas around what like your like a hero would do, like, you know, bringing you flowers or, you know, cooking beautiful meals or something like that, do some of those things for yourself. Like, that's what this be your own hero is like, you know, really step up to the plate for you, like show yourself the love or the attention or the, you know, the ability to fix problems or the ability to sort something out or the ability to like, you know, have courage in a situation. You know, you can do that for yourself. You can really be your own hero in this situation. So let's get a little bit more energy to see if we can get a bit more detail about this. So I'm doing this reading a little bit differently today. I felt nudged or guided to just shuffle the cards live on camera. So it went really well for pile 1. So hopefully it'll go okay for this pile as well. So let's see what archetype card is coming through. What archetype is pile 2 working with? This full moon in Leo. What? Whoa. Oh, we got 2. Okay. Let's take both. The crone and the desert. Interesting. With the desert, I'm getting straight away, you know, and with be your own hero, this hand is sticking up out of the desert, like it's like a cry for help kind of thing. So maybe for some of you, you feel like you've been drowning in like a kind of quicksand situation, like you've been really underneath it. You've been really like praying for a hero, praying for, you know, or even if not like a hero person, like it could just be like praying for the universe to kind of, you know, show up for you. And, you know, maybe you just want the universe or your guides or the angels or whatever to be a hero for you and kind of fix something for you, resolve something for you, you know, sort something out in some way. And you've kind of got your hand up like, help, I need to get out of this situation. And with the desert, this can often be like, you know, where there hasn't been a lot of growth. There's been like, it's been hot, it's been dry, it's been arid, it's been difficult, it's been, you know, really, yeah, like a hot, like you've been under pressure. So I feel like whatever the situation is, and it'll be different for all of you, it'll play out in different ways, different facets of your life, but whatever this is where you feel like you need a hand, essentially, it's like with the desert and then the crone coming out, I feel like this is saying you have the wisdom already within, like you already embody this crone archetype, or this is something that this full moon energy may amplify for you, is that like you don't actually need the help of someone else. Like you may feel helpless, or you may feel what's the word, like I'm kind of getting a vibe of like learned dependency, learned helplessness, which is I don't know too much about that, but it's like I think it's like a psychological thing, like behavioral thing, which quite often particularly women, but it can also be men, will sort of see this modeled usually from a caregiver. And so there can be this sense of like, you know, like embedded within you subconsciously. You know, I'm not suggesting you're doing this deliberately or anything. This is like a subconscious behavior pattern where you've learned to be, perhaps to feel somewhat helpless in certain situations, or feel somewhat victimized by certain situations, or feel like, you know, you need someone else to come along and be a hero for you, or to come along and help sort something out. But I feel like with be your own hero and the crone here, it's like you have the power within you. You have, the crone is all about, you know, this deep wisdom that you already hold. You already have this archetype here. And so this full moon may be like really waking you up to see. And, you know, this is all about full moon and Leo. This is all about, you know, courage, confidence, fearlessness, like, you know, taking action on things, shining your light, you know, being your true self. So it's kind of like you may really get in touch with this crone archetype through this time, that and realize like, oh my gosh, like this whole time I've been kind of waiting for someone else, or waiting for the universe, or waiting for, for help in some way, and actually like I figured it out, or like I actually know how I can resolve the situation, or like I like it just could be a very subtle shift where you're like, you just start to feel more confident in yourself. You start to feel more confident in what you know. You start to feel like, hold on a minute, I don't, like I've seen this pattern of, thinking like, oh, I need this, my partner around me to help with something. And actually, like, I have the wisdom, like I have the knowledge, like, I can resolve this for myself. I can step up in this situation and like come to the fore for myself, kind of thing. So yeah, really very empowering energy, pile number 2. I feel like you're going through kind of quite a shift here. And interesting how the hand in this case is kind of like help, like kind of just barely sticking above the surface. And in this case, it's like holding the raven, which is symbolic of wisdom and symbolic of like messages from the divine. So it's like you realize like you are the one who holds the wisdom, you are the one who holds the power, you are the one who holds the connection with the divine, so you can get those messages like yourself. Like you don't necessarily need like another person to come, in the 3D kind of thing and help you. Certainly that's not to say like you're not going to get any help whatsoever, or the universe is going to just like leave you dangling, but it's like there's something around like you, like with this hand, it's like picking up your own wisdom or picking up yourself kind of thing. Interesting. Let's have a look at the Wild and Sacred Feminine deck. So can we have a guidance for pile 2, please, Spirit, on, wow, it came flying out. Wow, Lioness and Courage. Oh, I love this. I love the energy of this card. This is such beautiful artwork on this deck. Yeah, there's something about stepping up and being courageous and like feeling the fear and doing it anyway. So if you feel like you've been like buried in some sort of situation, if you feel like you're out of your depth, if you feel like something's really scary, like how are you going to do it? How are you going to be able to fix something, or how are you going to be able to handle a certain situation? Say if you've gone through like a divorce recently or breakup or something like that, or you've, you're being called to step up and lead in a work situation, but you feel like you're drowning and you don't know what you're doing. And you're like, oh, I wish my previous manager was here, because now like I don't know how to handle this. I don't know how to be a leader, and you're being called to have the courage and like embrace this. This is so cool that for a full moon and Leo reading, Leo being the lion, a lioness came out. I love this for you, pile number 2. I feel guided in this case to read from the guidebook. Whoops. So here we go, lioness. This is the, no, okay, hold on. Oh, that's right. It's because the colors are, they're green, not brown, which is a little bit confusing in this book. So here we go. Okay, and the shadow is fear. So my courage, the quote is, my courage will come from knowing I can handle whatever I encounter. I was designed by my creator to not only survive pain and love, but also to become whole inside it. I was born to do this. And that's by Glennon Doyle. So when you pull lioness, know that your roar has been summoned. Live your life out loud, this card says, and face your fears head on. Lioness heralds an assertion of intrepid feminine prowess, as it once reigned in the ancient world, particularly in Egypt, where goddess and feline were inextricably linked. A card of growth and valor, lioness requires the integration of terror on the road to wholeness. Know that you cannot wait for bravery to come. Yes, that's that energy with the desert. It's kind of like waiting for bravery. It's like, I'm just going to stay under the surface with my hand up, being like, waiting for help, waiting for the courage. But it's like the crone is like, no, you've got to embrace it. You've got it within. You have everything within. It's just a matter of realizing that. So you must decide to be brave. Choose fortitude over comfort, perpetual daring over the status quo. Then when you invoke lioness's protective presence within, there's no limit to how bold you may become. Lioness teaches that instead of backing away, you can metabolize anything that scares you by offering it refuge. In Middle English, the word courage was used to convey what is in one's mind or thoughts. Courage cannot exist without the vulnerability of fear and the discernment required to work through it. Be like the Hindu goddess Durga, often depicted astride a lion with her hands in the freedom from fear Abhaya Mudra, a symbolic hand gesture that proclaims the self-mastery that courage entails. To tame your fear, venture naming it. Saying, I am scared, is a true act of bravery. This alchemy unleashes your lioness attributes, valiant spirit, clear focus, and boundless energy. Drawing lioness also reminds you to have cœur, the French word for heart, found at the root of courage. Stand with a strong back and an open heart to risk emotional exposure and express what lights you up. And even if it makes your heart race, increase your pluck by cultivating stretch experiences. When you feel trepidation, ask your innermost self, what would it look like if I held nothing back? Beware the soul-crushing danger of playing it safe, and don't let fear rule your pride. Like lioness, let roar the truth that you are powerful beyond measure. You were born for this. Wow. Yeah, I do. I feel like for many of you, pile 2, this is really about stepping into some sort of leadership. Like you're being called into something. You're being called to have courage and step up in some way, in some quite big way. So this full moon, this full moon in Leo could be quite powerful for you. And like I said with pile 1, these full moon cycles, like, this is not just like, oh, it's the full moon on Thursday. Okay, for a couple of days, I might feel a little bit more confident. These cycles can last for like a whole month, or sometimes more than that, like longer than that, like for months on. So this could be quite powerful, like activation for you. So let's get a Sacred Rebel card. Wow. Focus on the light. Beautiful. Yeah. And we've got a sunflower here, which is sunflowers move as the sun rotates in the sky. They follow the light round. And sunflowers are symbolic of the sun. They capture the energy of the sun, and Leo is ruled by the sun. There's something around like really not only focusing on the light, but focusing on your own light, and like keeping your connection to the light and showing yourself as well, because this lioness courage was all about like, having the courage to like live your truth, like be your true self, to really be vulnerable, speak your truth, really put yourself out there, like a sunflower. Like they're the most kind of bold flowers, really. Like they're golden, they're yellow, they're just right out there, and they're just following the sun all day. So there's something around kind of really blooming and showing your true self, and being comfortable, kind of like, opening up, blossoming, and like following the sun, like staying connected with the light, staying focused on the light, and staying focused on your own light and where you can shine your own light. So I feel like many of you are probably, with the crone here as well, many of you are probably light workers, star seeds, that kind of thing. You may not be, or you may not identify as that, but I feel like you're being called to at least stay connected with a sense of inner light, and like inner, like your sun, like a kind of a sense of vitality, and a sense of a sense of like brightness. Because maybe for some of you with that desert card, I got the energy that some of you might have been feeling a little bit buried under something, like kind of smothered a bit, or struggling with something, or kind of maybe like buried under a mountain of work or something like that, or responsibilities, or just struggling in some area of your life. And you've been kind of waiting for the courage, or waiting for your hero, or waiting for the universe, or there's been this kind of stuck energy. And I feel like this is all about really stepping into your power, really finding the courage to like figure this out, and to move forward, and to be your true self, and to live from a place of courage, to live from a place of, it's not necessarily fearlessness, but like it's that energy of feeling the fear and doing it anyway. It's like you're not going to get rid of your fear. You're not going to like, kind of that if you keep, like, you know, with quicksand, if you keep fighting the quicksand, you just sink further and further. So it's like if you keep fighting your fear or waiting for it to go away, it will never go away, you know. And I feel like you have a lot of wisdom to share, and you have a lot of light to share, and you're being called to really shine your light. You're being, in whichever area that is, it may not be being a light worker, but it's like you're being called to like step into the limelight in some way, to like, you know, really be courageous in some area of your life. Let's get a believe in your own magic card. Believe in your own magic card, please, Spirit, for pile 2. Get a believe in your own magic. Whoa. Thorns. Weave together the crown you deserve. Yes, exactly. Sovereignty. Stepping into your sovereignty. And I feel like I'm kind of seeing this as like, you know, there's two sort of, they look like perhaps younger figures here, and then there's a figure here who looks like she's kind of like perhaps showing the others how to kind of do this flower weaving. So I'm kind of seeing you in stepping into a position of authority, perhaps becoming a teacher, you know, perhaps becoming a leader, perhaps becoming a, I'm hearing director. That's very specific. That might be for one person, but like, that could be it could be like in a theatrical project, for example, or, you know, or a director of a company. Or just being a director more generally, like being able to sort of direct your life and kind of have that sovereignty, because that's what sovereignty is about, is like, you know, being able to lead your own life, being able to take the direction that you want to take, being able to have a say over your life, over what you want to do, who you want to be with, you know, what you want to eat, what type of work you want to do, all of that. It's like you have the say over all of that. You have the sovereignty to lead your life in any which way. You know, you should wear the crown, and you know, that goes to someone who is worthy of that. Like, you can't just go from, you know, if you think of like tarot and the court cards, you can't just sort of go from a page to like the queen. It's like there's a graduation through, you know, the court. But I feel like you're ready for this. You may not feel like you're ready. You may feel like you're drowning, but you know, that is that fear that's really like, you know, the fear and the pride that's perhaps stopping you. And I don't mean like you're being a really proud person. I just mean it's like often, you know, our egos, right, can try and keep us small because they're scared. They don't want to be exposed, or they don't want to be made fun of, or they don't want to be drowning in too much responsibility, or you know, just not be able to live up to other people's expectations, or there could be a myriad of fears around, you know, really stepping up and leading in any kind of way. And whichever facet this is, whether it's at work, whether it's in your community, whether it's in your school, whether it's in your, you know, within your relationships, whatever it might be. But I feel like you're being called into, you know, to embrace courage, to be this lioness, to let your roar, you know, let people really hear your roar. So let your voice be heard in some way. You know, stepping into a position of authority, perhaps, like, you know, perhaps seeing yourself as, you know, yes, I am ready. I do have a lot of wisdom with that crone here. I can shine my light. I can teach others. I can show others how to, you know, do this thing, whatever it might be. So love that for you, pile 2. Very, very beautiful energy. Let's just move these over. So let's see. Let's get a goddess card. Maybe I'll move that one under here. There we go. Okay, yeah, let's get a goddess card. Goddess is guiding pile 2 through this. Ishtar with communion, card number 23. Interesting, we've got 2 5s here. In numerology, 14 reduces to a 5, and 23 is a 5 as well. And you've got a 5 there with 15. Is there any others? No. Yeah, so 5s are about change and about adventure, and actually linked with courage to change things, to go on an adventure, to do something different, to break out of your comfort zone. feel like there could be something with this communion card around kind of, yeah, if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling like you really can't move past this fear, or you really don't know how to kind of embrace this lioness energy, you're struggling to kind of be your own hero, you're struggling to really be there for yourself, to show up for yourself, or to kind of step into this position to be a leader, to be an authority or something, you can really commune with the divine. You know, communion is about like kind of, you know, being able to connect with the divine and just spend time in their energy and almost like absorb that energy of the divine within yourself, so that you become almost like a carrier of that energy, if you like a yeah, it's like I can't think of the right word, like receptacle almost. I feel like maybe there might be something in the guidebook about this. Okay, number 23. Yeah, interesting. Your intimate relationship with the invisible world is being called upon right now as you enter unfamiliar environments and situations. Yeah, so some of you might be, you know, suddenly called to be some sort of a leader all of a sudden. Like you've been thrust into a leadership position. You know, you've been thrust into a position of authority, like, or the universe has just pushed you into something. It's like kind of like maybe, you know, some other position has ended or something, and so as a result of something ending, now you're having to like lead your own life, like create this sovereignty for yourself, because you know the thing you were doing before is, it's like the rug's been pulled out from under your feet, and you're having to like, you know, you're just being faced with this completely unfamiliar terrain. So yeah, you might well be in feeling a bit like, you know, like you're under you're stuck in something, like you're kind of buried under sand, and it's like you can't see what's going on, everything feels really unfamiliar. So it's time to commune with the great goddess, the aspect of the conscious universe in her most collaborative form. The world then becomes your oracle as it opens up and communicates everything you need in the form of signs, omens, and messages. And what did I say about the crone with the raven being symbolic of messages? So the universe wants to communicate with you and wants to send you signs and synchronicities and support and messages. You're not alone. You haven't been abandoned. The universe can help support you to really like stepping into your courage and like, yeah, guiding your life and being more sovereign in some way. So now is the time to pay attention to synchronicities and those moments when logic and reason fail to give you the full picture. The Mesopotamian goddess Ishtar reminds you of the time in her ancient temples when her priestesses served as oracles, communing with the goddess and imparting wisdom to the people who sought guidance. Look at everything in your life as an opportunity for communion, losing the need for self-centeredness, connecting to source in a sacred, intimate way. You will not pray on your knees as a supplicant. You engage the great goddess and a partner in co-creation, participating in the making of worlds. No one needs to, oh my goodness, I love this. Listen to this. No one needs to rescue you when you act empowered, aware and awake to the wondrous miracle you're part of. This is why I had to do the cards live. So you saw that, like, I didn't pre-pull this. You saw it come out live. I love that. What was I saying about rescuing yourself? You don't need someone else to rescue you. And then it came out with this card. No one needs to rescue you. You don't need a hero. You don't need the universe. Even like, well, you do need the universe, but like, you have it within you. You have the power within you. You are like an embodiment of this great goddess energy. Like you are a spark of the divine. Like, you know, you have the ability to get yourself out of any situation, to, you know, guide your own life, to be your own hero, to rescue yourself, to you know, step into any kind of position that you need to. You have the wisdom with that crone here. I definitely feel like now with how it was saying in this book about, you know, reminds you of the time in her ancient temples when her priestesses served as oracles, communing with the goddess and imparting wisdom to the people who sought guidance. And the crone being here as well. I feel like you guys, for part number 2, some of you might be very called towards doing something like this, right? Or doing, you know, being a priestess, being a guide, being a healer, being someone who gives guidance, you know, being an oracle of some sort. Doesn't have to be tarot. It could be like astrology, numerology, like any kind of person who helps other people see, like a medium, for example, someone who helps people kind of connect with the other side, like with the crone being there. That's a lot to do with receiving messages, from beyond the veil. So even if it's not kind of stepping into a position like that or doing that type of work, doing that type of light worker work or priestess work or whatever it might be. And by the way, I just felt nudged to point out that if you are drawn to doing the priestess thing and being in this crone, embodying this crone energy and stepping into that, I do have on my Patreon, the tier 2 is all about stepping onto the priestess path. So I'll leave a link below. Check that out. Just for this part, I just felt particularly called to suggest that, because some of you, I know that could be for like very few of you. More generally speaking, if it's not stepping into that, type of work specifically, then it's using that. It's using your ability to connect with the other side and your ability to get messages and see signs and synchronicities just to guide your own life more generally, with whatever it is. Sorry, Paul, too. I just had a cough. It could be just using your ability to connect in, to commune, to receive messages, to help yourself get out of any situation, to, step into being a hero for yourself, to have the courage to navigate any kind of situation in your life, to, be more sovereign in your life or take more of a position of authority in some area of your life to help navigate change, as I spoke about with the 2 5s being about change and adventure and mixing things up, all of that kind of thing. So it may be just generally speaking, like really using that connection that you have, that ability to kind of like work with the universe. It's like you're not meant to be kind of on your knees, kind of like, help me, like I'm not worthy, or I can't do this on myself, I'm just a mere lowly human. No, like it's not like the universe wants you to if you've been conditioned into any of that, particularly through religious things, like get rid of that. Like you are a spark of the divine. Like you are here as like a representative of the divine. For many of you, you are a light worker. You have this crone wisdom to share. You potentially are something like a priestess or a guide or an oracle of some sort. Or like I said, even if you're not, like, you still have an ability to commune with the divine. You still have an ability to co-create with the universe. You still have an ability to use that connection to help yourself, to really like navigate any kind of situation that you are in. So I feel like that is all the messages I have for you today, part 2. I hope that resonated for you. Leave me a comment below if you enjoyed this reading. Let me know how you found the new format and the whole doing a full moon readings. As you know, I'm changing things up with my YouTube and Patreon. So I'd love to know if you enjoy these moon readings, if they help support you. Hit the like button if you enjoyed it as well. It helps my channel to grow. And hit the subscribe button if you're not already part of the community. I would love to have you here. All the best with this full moon in Leo, and I will see you in the next reading. All my love. Bye. Hi there, beautiful souls of pile number 3. If you chose card number 22, Free Spirit, or the Chevron Amethyst, this will be your reading on full moon in Leo, the confidence to be your unique self. So pile number 3, I'm going to get into, I haven't pre-pulled your oracle cards this time. I'm mixing things up a bit, doing it a little bit differently. I'm going to live shuffle and pull some oracle cards for you in a moment, but I'm just going to tune into your energy first of all. So straight off the bat with Free Spirit here, I'm getting definite Aquarius vibes or Sagittarius vibes. Some of you might be have one of those as your big 3, like Sun, Moon, Rising, or just generally embody that type of energy of being very free-spirited, very possibly with, on the Aquarius end, very, Aquarius ruled by Uranus. It's all about being original, being a bit different, being happy, being unique, or doing something a bit more unconventional. With Sagittarius, it's that kind of expansive, wanting to learn, wanting to be a seeker, traveling a lot, feeling very interested in other cultures and expanding your mind. I'm also getting with the number 22, some of you may be a life path 22, which is one of the master number life paths. So, it's a lot to do with, being highly intuitive. So we've got the amethyst here as well, which is connected with your third eye and with intuition. So I feel like you have like just stellar intuition, like you're really tapped in, really connected. And sometimes the life path thing can be something that you sort of grow into over time, or you step onto over time. So it could be something that you'll all be perhaps at different stages of that. Some of you might be growing your intuition. Some of you might be just starting to connect with it. Others of you might be like, very far down that path and just you've always been a highly sensitive person. You've always been highly intuitive. You've always been very like in sync with like being able to receive messages from the universe, or feel very connected to others. You could have been someone who, whenever you walk past anyone, you would just be able to like receive information kind of thing. Very connected with spirit, like always kind of, you might have been quite a spiritual person even from a young age. And have, just like very open third eye, or all the kind of clairs, like clairvoyance, clairaudience, all that kind of thing, where you can like, see and hear and like, be very psychic potentially. So for others of you, this could be more coming out. I'm seeing with all the blue here, this is linked with the throat chakra, which is all about being able to like express yourself. It can be like having a lot of like creative energy, being very like creatively expressive. So it might come out in sort of slightly different ways, but either way, when I tune into your energy, if you pick this pile, you're very free-spirited, like you're very or you have a yearning to be very free-spirited. And this could be something that is coming up with this full moon in Leo, to express that spirit a little bit more, or step into being a free spirit a little bit more. Maybe for some of you, you've been holding that spirit back a little bit, or it's been like it hasn't been fully liberated, and there's a call to kind of like really liberate it fully. But I feel like for most of you, you're kind of already doing this in some way. So let's get a little bit more detail from the other oracle cards, if that feels like it resonates. So and we have a oracle card, please, Spirit. Sorry, an archetype oracle card, please, Spirit, on the archetype that pile 3 is working with, this full moon in Leo. Oh, interesting. The unseen. That is so interesting. I was just talking about like with clairvoyancy, being able to see, and also with some of you maybe like holding yourself back a little bit, like not being fully free, not being fully liberated. So this could be two things. For some of you, this could be like what the full moon in Leo is bringing up is something that you haven't seen, or like more of a connection with your third eye. Like you could have more of an intuitive awakening. You could feel suddenly a lot more connected with like the world of the unseen. So this could be, things beyond the veil, a heightened psychic perception, a heightened being able to sort of see things in the future, like getting like future visions of things, all of that kind of thing. For others of you, this could be more about like working with this archetype within like any kind of blocks that you have towards being seen, and towards really letting your spirit free and letting your spirit shine and really expressing yourself, with that blue coming through linked with the throat chakra. Really expressing this free spirit that you have within you, that maybe, you're like this in your own private time or something, but like you're not letting anyone else see that side of you. Or maybe you're, perhaps you were feeling called to, say, do something like this, like start a YouTube channel, doing or a TikTok or an Instagram or whatever, doing like, using your intuition, or using your ability to like, see beyond the veil, or, or even just being, if you resonate with that sort of Aquarius, Uranus, like being quirky or unconventional. Maybe you have a different take on something and you feel like kind of, expressing that truth, or like, you've got certain creations that you've been creating. Like this could be speaking of, if you're an artist or something, you might have been working on like, say, paintings or on writing or something like that, and it's not been seen by anyone. Like you do it and you enjoy it, but like then you just keep it to yourself, and like no one even at your work knows that you do this kind of thing, or like even maybe your friends don't know. It's kind of like, like being in the closet, kind of like I'm sort of getting like a closet witch or like, someone who like you you have all these skills, you have all these like beautiful, yeah, like the clairvoyance and all that kind of thing. But yeah, you just it's like you don't let other people maybe see that part of yourself. So that could be something that, you know, this full moon in Leo, because as I said, this reading is all about the confidence to be uniquely you. And I feel like you are a very unique soul. You are a free spirit. Certainly if you are life path 22, that is a master number, and that particular life path, I'm a life path 11, which is similar to life path 22, but 22 is even more kind of amplified than a life path 11. It's like life path 11 but on steroids. So you very much will feel called at a certain point of your life when you are a life path, or when you're any of the master numbers, so 11, 22 or 33, you'll very much feel called towards like using your intuition to help people in some way. In a nutshell, I mean, do your research, look into it if you don't know much about this life path. Check if you are one. So for some of you, you may not be, or you might have life path 22 somewhere else in your numerology chart. So it could be your soul urge or something like that. But it just speaks to like it's connected with being innovative. Actually, it's connected with. It can be connected to leadership, but it's very much like that Aquarius energy of being very humanitarian, wanting to do things in a different way. Like you're very much a soul who's designed to come to earth and like shake things up and like not just follow the status quo and do things how everyone else is doing it. That's why we've got free spirit here. What is this card? Animus Mundi. I just thought that was interesting. It kind of seemed to want to come off. But yeah, I feel like you're being called to like really express your spirit, or like step into using your spiritual gifts more if that's something that you resonate with having, and start to be seen in some way. And I feel like your life path as time goes on will start to call you more and more towards like showing up and being seen. So very interesting. Let's have a look at your other cards. We have some more guidance for Pile 2. We have some more guidance for Pile 2. Please, Spirit. Horse and freedom. Wow. What was I saying about Sagittarius, who is the centaur, symbolized by the centaur? And we've got a figure riding a horse, and freedom, which is kind of the energy of Sagittarius energy, really. So yeah, again, some of you might be Sagittarius, or this just could be an energy that you're being called to tap into more, is having more freedom. And we've got freedom and free. So, you know, that sort of energy of liberating yourself, of being free to roam, of being, you know, horses are about movement. And possibly travel, you know, so this could be like having the freedom to kind of go where you want to go, to really be a free spirit, to travel to other places, or just, you know, move about. You know, maybe this is like you want to be like have a laptop lifestyle or something, or be like a digital nomad, or like you know, be able to work online so that you're not sort of stuck in one place, and you don't have to go to a day job like in a certain office or something every day. Like you've got the freedom to kind of just be wild and free and kind of go where your heart desires, sort of thing. So let's get one more. Some more guidance for Pile 3, please, Spirit. Wow, that came flying out. And river with surrender. Yeah, I feel like there's something that's like calling you kind of, again, with the river, this is like, you know, kind of going with the flow, like allowing yourself to sort of be moved, allowing the universe to kind of like, you know, surrendering and like, you know, just letting the universe move you to where you need to be moved to. So yeah, there's something around like definitely possibly traveling, possibly moving like overseas, or traveling overseas, or just surrendering to like the universe moving you towards something that would allow your spirit to kind of have more like freedom of expression, would allow you to perhaps feel more comfortable to be seen, because maybe the environment that you're in at the moment, like you don't feel like you could come out of like the spiritual closet, or out of the woo-woo closet, or out of the, you know, like even like be creative. Like maybe you're in a very sort of rigid environment where everyone's like, you know, they wouldn't appreciate like you just being your free spirited true self, like it just wouldn't go down very well. So you have to kind of keep that side of you sort of locked away and unseen or something. And so the universe wants to kind of like wants you to surrender so that you can go with the flow and be moved to another environment, be moved to another place that might support you better. Because I can see with this figure, she's got all these, yeah, there's like all these little fish around her. So it's like maybe it's moving to like where there's another community of people who would like be more supportive or want to like travel with you, like a traveling community or something like that. It could even be online as well, but it could be in person. I just feel like maybe reading something from the book about this. So let's have a look. River. See. There we go. So surrender and the shadow is inflexibility. You do not have to be a fire for every mountain blocking you. You could be a water and soft river your way to freedom too. Wow, I love that. My gosh, so that's talking about freedom as well. Wow. So we've got freedom spoken about in this card. We've got freedom here with horse, and we've got free spirit. Freedom is a big thing for your soul right now. Pile number 3. Freedom is very important. This full moon on Leo is going to bring up any area in your life where you don't feel free to be uniquely yourself. So there may be something that's really asking you to surrender. So very interesting. River heralds the unavoidable riffles, rapids, pulls, and eddies that coax you towards the confluence of fate. She offers you the chance to immerse yourself in a soul journey that supersedes understanding and holds nothing back. When you no longer know what to do or which way to go, you have come to the essence of surrender. To draw a river is to bathe yourself in fluidity, the spate and drought of spiritual life, the irrepressible buoyancy that carries you along, the merging with rhythms beyond your separate self. A card of realignment, River asks you to take stock of your relationship to the laws of surrender. When met with an irresistible force, do you bend or do you break? For some, adjustment can be graceful, like a sinuous river bend. For others, it can feel like a relentless current pushing against one's sense of self. If you are drowning in struggle, consider what keeps you from riding that current. River commends bowing to things as they are and trusting impediments as divinely guided course corrections. Success here means no forcing or refusing to yield. This card warns against dogmatic inflexibility. River shows you what it can be like to follow a path without resistance. Whether she appears as gentle ripples or frothing white water, beneath the surface lies a deeper cohesion. Whatever happens, happens. It is all part of an inscrutable order. Providence cannot be escaped. Hold on to what is most important, your real work, and liberate everything else. River flows over rocks and around mountains. She takes the shape of each new landscape she enters, but over time she also shapes the land, forging canyons and oxbow lakes. From her birth as a high mountain stream until she merges once again with the ocean, River croons a timeless story of movement and change. River runs through you, as you, not just past you. Each act of surrender, no matter how small, brings you into an abiding ease with the flow. Wow. Part number 3, what are you going through? You'll have to comment below if you feel comfortable sharing. I would love to hear, because wowza, I feel like you're really being nudged by the universe. You're really being pulled. You're really being asked to surrender. You're possibly going through quite a big change. And I really feel like you're being liberated from something that's been holding you back, that's been keeping you unseen, that's been not allowing you to express your free spirit, or not allowing you to express your spirit. Like your spirit has been caged in some way, or aspects of yourself have been caged, and you're being called to really surrender, and the universe is just going to kind of pull you, like the current is just going to pull you to where you need to be. And I feel like for many of you, you're sort of, perhaps you're already doing that. And it's just more surrender is called for, because, that process, especially if you are, life path 11 or 22, that process is like very cyclical, and it happens again and again and again, and like, you know, you can go deeper and deeper into it, and then you get called on to serve in different ways, or called on to, you know, show up with your spiritual truth in different ways. And you know, each time you have to surrender even deeper, you know. So some of you may already be, you know, kind of doing something quite unconventional anyway, but there's like, yeah, there's more surrendering to do. There's more kind of realignment that's going to be happening, and it's to give your like, for you, pile number 3, sorry, I think I said pile 2 before. For you, pile number 3, your spirit really has to be fully free. Like, you've got to be free to fully stretch and move and like run with the horses kind of thing. Like, just have total wild freedom to express your true self, and like be an innovator in some way, to really shake things up, to like, you know, yeah, to be able to potentially guide others is what I'm hearing. And I feel like you can't do that if you're being suppressed in some way, or you're in an environment where you're keeping your true self kind of caged in some sense. So you have a believe in your own magic card, please, Spirit, for pile 3. What else does pile 3 need to know about this? Has it being a little cagey? What does pile 3 need to know? Does pile 3... Wow, okay, now I'm cancelling up. There we go. Evil Queen, card number 2. You deserve sugar, not salt. Interesting. So this could be a number of different things. This could be, you know, from something growing up where there was a figure in your life, potentially a maternal figure, with the female hands here with the nails, but it doesn't have to be. It could just be someone with sort of dark energy, or living from their shadow, or living, you know, operating from an unconscious pattern or something like that, where, you know, they might have been very discouraging towards you. They might not, you know, you may have been in an environment growing up that was very strict and very like controlling, and very like where you didn't have a lot of space or freedom or liberation to be your true self. You had to, like, you know, you were perhaps very manipulated, or very like yeah, just controlled in a certain way, or it was very strict. Like, you couldn't be your true self, or there was no room for you to be who you really were, or something like that. You know, with you deserve sugar, not salt, it's like, you know, you really deserve sweetness. Like, you should have been encouraged and given support and like nurturance in order to really be your true authentic self and your unique self. But like, instead you might have been, you know, gotten, perhaps, I hope not, but, you know, perhaps you had some sort of like abuse or narcissistic abuse or something like that. I'm so sorry if you did. I do understand what that is like. It's a very difficult thing to heal from, but you can heal from it. And often those who have gone, you know, as I mentioned with the life path, 11s and 22s or 33s, that one of those master numbers, or soul urge or something, like if you are one of those, often you go through some quite difficult experiences, because you're meant to like use those experiences in order to help be a guide for others, in order to help support others. I'm also seeing now as well with the unseen and the you deserve sugar, not salt. So as well, you could have just been a little bit neglected. So it may not have even been necessarily like really malicious. It just might have been that you weren't really seen. You know, your true self just wasn't really seen. You were just, you know, perhaps raised by people who just, you know, they had the same thing modeled to them. No one had really seen or properly held space for their true selves. So they, you know, continued that down the line, and you were never really seen for who you really were. And so there's something around like, you know, starting to wake up to, starting to open your eyes to who you really are, to the truth of like your spiritual self, to wanting to create and carve out more freedom in your life, to be able to express yourself, to be able to be your true self, to be able to be around people who are supportive of you, and also people who will, you know, give you that sweetness and nurturance and support and care that you deserve, not that like salty, you know, nasty or mean or unsupportive or just neglectful kind of energy. So very interesting. Let's get one more for pile 3. Is there any other guidance for pile 3? There we go. I felt like there was one more. Yes, confidence. It comes with time and practice, card number 23. Yeah, and it's interesting, she's on a train here, and I spoke about movement and travel with horse and freedom as well. So we've got 2 symbols of travel, the horse and the train. So yeah, some of you might be feeling called to like go on a little, it could be a short-term journey, it could be a long-term journey, it could be moving somewhere, it could be just going traveling, like maybe, you know, I'm kind of seeing someone doing like what is that, Eurail or something, like the where you can pay like a fee and you can travel on all the trains around Europe or something. So some of you might be doing something like that, and you might feel a bit nervous about doing it. You might feel a bit like, you know, you've been longing to travel for a really long time. You've been longing for this liberation, this freedom to kind of go in your own direction, and now the universe has like created some sort of situation in your life, because with this river and surrender, usually if you don't kind of take the steps yourself, the universe will like sort of create the situation to kind of like realign you with your past, sort of thing. Again, especially if you are like a life path 22, because there's that onus of like really stepping up into like being like a spiritual representative in some way. So yeah, you may well have been pulled towards like moving locations, like moving away from home or moving countries or moving to another environment or something. So you could be feeling, I'm kind of getting a sense of like, some of you, you're kind of considering this, so others of you, you're doing this already. So kudos to you, because it takes a lot of bravery to do that. And you're feeling a bit alienated maybe where you are. But just trust that like you've been asked to surrender, and you've been redirected and nudged into this new, this like, you've been sort of pulled down the river towards this new direction for a reason. And it's so that you can really expand your true self. You can really expand your soul, and you'll feel so much more free. And yeah, like look at the energy of these 2 cards. In this particular card, like, you know, her hands are around her knees, she looks really nervous, whereas in this card she's like really confidently riding a horse, and just like it's really like the horse is like already in movement, and it's just really really expansive energy. So I definitely feel like you know, you will get to this point where you'll feel more confident like on this path, or more confident moving forward and like taking the reins of your life and like going in the direction that you're feeling called to. So let's finish up with a goddess card, pile 3. Spirit, can we get a, whoa, oh wow, I love it. We've got 3 goddess cards. I think it's just this one. Also got Bridget, Creative Spark, and Mary Miracles, but I feel like it's just this one. Spider Woman, Co-Creation, card number 48. So yeah, I feel like I think I spoke about co-creation with the River Surrender card, or was that in another pile? Anyway, you got Spider Woman with co-creation. So yeah, you're being called to co-create now with the universe. So maybe previously, if you haven't really been in a position to do that because you've been like playing small or keeping unseen, or like you haven't been free for whatever reason, because of maybe your job or the path you've been on, or the just, you know, within your own self, you haven't sort of had the confidence, you know. That's what this Leo energy is all about, is stepping into the confidence to kind of go forward with these nudges and to co-create the life that you dream of, the life that you really want. You know, I feel like you if you're not already doing this, you yearn to be a free spirit. You yearn to be able to like move or go where you want, to have the freedom to live life the way you want. And you have, with Spider Woman coming through, you have the ability to co-create the life of your dreams. So I feel like I'm going to finish with reading the guidance from the book for this one. Okay, so from the rich red earth, a Navajo goddess spider woman rises up to help you weave your dreams into the fabric of reality. She is here to remind you that your vision of the form of your desire is not as important as its essence. Knowing why you want to create something, what motivates you, what inspires you, and what beauty you're dreaming to bring to life is key at this time. The collective dream is being manifested by the co creative relationship between your imagination and the universe. So call to the best within you and weave your world into being with intentionality and humility. Remember that you can't control the form, accept life on life's terms. When the goddess Spider Woman appears, she heralds the creation of a most beautiful dream that springs to life as if by magic. Stay with it. We need your dream to be added to the web of all creation. Yeah, that is so beautiful. I love that. And I feel like it really goes with this free spirit card, because it's like whatever your soul craves this freedom for a reason, and it has its own unique dream for a reason, and it craves the world to look in a certain way. There's very much, the life path 22 or life path 11 is like you have this vision, it's very visionary energy. Like you have this vision of the world being a certain way, and there's a reason. Like your soul was meant to come here, it was meant to incarnate at this time, it's meant to have that desire for the world to look a certain way. You're meant to want freedom, you're meant to want to be a free spirit, you're meant to want to express yourself, you're meant to create you're meant to create your dream life. You're meant to create a unique life for yourself, because like you're here to do something different. You're here to shake things up. You're here to change things. You're here to live life from a more intuitive and spiritual place, so that you can be an example for others. Essentially, that needs to be like seen. You need to come like out into the open and live in that way where you're embracing your ability to co-create with the universe. And also life path number 22, more so than life path 11, is a master manifester. So having that master manifester energy with co-creation is like saying like, you contain this ability within yourself to manifest whatever dream it is that you have for your life. You don't need to live by other people's rules, or kind of like wait for things, or just like leave your dreams on the back burner because like, oh, it's never going to happen, or whatever it might be. It's like you have the power. Part number 3, you have the power within you to co-create whatever dream you have, and to live, to really embrace and live as this free spirit. So I hope that resonated for you, part number 3. Leave a comment below if it did. I would love to hear from you. And also let me know how you found having a full moon reading. I'm bringing these back over here, as I mentioned in the intro, from my Patreon tier 1, the Wild Women tier, over to YouTube now. So new moon and full moon readings will be up, as well as Wheel of the Year. So let me know if you enjoyed this type of reading. Hit the like button if you enjoyed it. It really helps my channel to grow. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already part of the community. I would love to have you here. Thank you so much for all your support on my channel. All the best with your full moon in Leo, and I will see you in the next reading. All my love.